I think that we should probably jump into something. Like the rest of the topics we get to them. But I think we'd be remiss not to bring up the Marvel panel, which got a lot of people excited, even though I'm not going to lie. The Marvel animation panel got me more excited. But
yeah.
We did get two things that did get me excited. Hope. Maybe. All right. So we found out about Phase 4 of the MCU is coming to an end, and thank God for that, because it's not been the best. Even like a lot of fans who've been saying maybe the MCU is declining in quality. I've been saying, where have you been all this time? I've been saying that for years. So, but they announced their lineup for Phase 5 and Phase 6, which Phase 6 will conclude what they're calling the Multiverse Saga. That's right. We went 11 years of the Infinity Saga. Now the Multiverse Saga will have lasted for 2020, so 4 years.
Yeah.
Bit sped up, but... So let's talk about what their upcoming lineup is. So, and at the end, we'll go through the comment section for all the Marvel stuff.
Okay.
But we'll talk about them now.
Yeah.
Next
and
up,
let's wrap it up with this one. It's a big, exciting one to talk about. People are gonna...
So
this episode, that is.
Yeah. Do you have the list up of upcoming Marvel stuff? You know, if you click, do you have the Google Doc open?
Yeah.
Because if you click on that, it has them all in order.
Okay.
So I'll just talk about the stuff that I'm kind of interested in. Got it?
Yeah. Yeah,
all right.
Can. I'll share this in a second. You can start.
All right. So if there's anything that you want to bring up, we can. I'll just talk about the stuff that interests me or I'll plan to watch. All right. So next up, we have She-Hulk Attorney at Law, which will premiere on Disney Plus on August 17th. So I'm not going to lie. When it was first announced, and they announced that Bruce Banner would appear in the show, I was excited. Because I was like, all right, Hulk, Bill Bixby Hulk show is my favorite Marvel TV show in live action. So Hulk returning to TV, all right. Now, it wasn't this episode hasn't been released yet, but do you remember when I said the Thor Love and Thunder trailer was one of the worst superhero trailers I've ever seen?
Yeah, and I've still never seen that trailer, but
yes. Yeah. It's like Paul sent that out, and both Marvel and DC were like, oh no, Adam, we will take you up on that challenge. And we will try to make something even worse. And mission accomplished.
Paul has connections.
He does. Because the She-Hulk trailer they showed at Comic-Con is awful. And it really, the opening scene sums up perfectly the problem with the MCU now. It begins with She-Hulk in bed, and we see an air horn come close to her ear. And then it rings, and then she wakes up, and she turns to Hulk, who is still the crappy Professor Hulk, so just CGI Mark Ruffalo. And she goes, what was the point of that? And he goes, for science, nothing. For comedic effects, everything. And it's just like, yep, that's the MCU now. Whenever it's, we're funny. That's what we do. We are the dumb sitcom. So I'm not going to lie. It's killed a lot of my enthusiasm for the show. Like, I wish so much, number one, that this show was a completely separate thing. Like, I wish it wasn't connected to the MCU, and the Bruce Banner Hulk in this show was not the Mark Ruffalo version. Or I really think we would have gotten a much better show had it come out during that golden age of Marvel, which I would say was between 2012 through 2016. So this is the last chance I'm giving the MCU with Hulk. Like, if
you've given a lot of chances on things in Marvel, so
if this is it, then you can just write off Hulk. You can kill him off for all I care. Like, if if it's still more that crappy Professor Hulk, then just get rid of him. Because there's no point. You butchered the character so badly.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a shame because remember in the first Avengers where he was the standout and everyone was like, oh, Hulk was the standout in that movie?
Yeah.
And they really butchered it. All right, let's go to Phase 5. Echo will have Daredevil, so I'll watch that episode. Oh yes, talked about Daredevil. Let's bring it up.
Can you see the screen share, by the way? I don't know.
Oh yes, I can. I forgot. Yes.
Okay.
So I was gonna skip over the stuff that I don't plan on watching, and then if there was anything you wanted to bring up, we could. Well, I guess
right.
Was there something before Daredevil you wanted to bring up, or?
Daredevil. Let me see. Is there anything? I mean, I guess the only thing, I don't know if this is a separate topic or something, but I mean, there is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and there is, obviously some stuff announced about that would touch on things we talked about before.
Yes, so Namor is going to be in there, which I was a bit surprised by because I remember hearing years ago that there were rights issues, but I guess they worked them out.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, wouldn't you say? I don't know how you're feeling, and I guess I'll bring up first. This could be speculation, but isn't it pretty much like understood that they are recasting?
T'Challa?
Yeah, maybe I accidentally went to...
No. Kevin Feige announced they're not recasting T'Challa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I must have been on
Kingdom of Wakanda reels after the death of T'Challa.
Oh, I don't mean recasting. I mean a new Black Panther.
Yeah, which, look, do I say it? No. Look, you know the comics. We all know who's going to be Black Panther. We all know. In fact, if you're listening to this, you know who's going to be the next Black Panther. Maybe you know. I mean,
right.
You know, right? You know who it's going to be. If you don't know, I'll tell you. But
yeah, I have a
It's Shuri.
guess.
We all know it's going to be Shuri.
Okay, yeah, I mean that was my guess, but I don't have so much to go off of that. Like, didn't I'm wondering, the trailer, I saw, this is where I saw speculate. The trailer showed like someone in the suit, but not enough of it to really gather anything.
Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer, but from what I've heard, you see someone in the costume, but you don't know who it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what? I want to bring something up real quick about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. No evidence, no proof of nothing. Just something I'm thinking, what if?
What if?
Ever since, now, earlier last year, we heard the news that Chris Evans was coming back to the MCU as Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of us have been wondering, which one is it going to be? Because we do know it's not going to be in Captain America, the next one that stars Sam, even though it should be because Sam was there for him. Steve should be there for Sam, but whatever. One of the ones I've always thought could be that he comes back for, besides an Avengers movie, was Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Because, just think about this.
Mm-hmm.
I could imagine a scene where, look, we all know Shuri's going to be Black Panther. A scene where, like, Shuri feels defeated or whatever, okay? And who is someone who could come and give her advice? Like, remember, in Endgame, Cap was a grief counselor. And I was thinking, everyone in Wakanda knew T'Challa as the prince or the king. But Steve Rogers knew him as the Black Panther. So maybe we could have a scene where she goes to him and like he maybe tells her a story of something that we as the audience didn't know about. and we cut to a flashback of Captain America, and it would be someone in the Black Panther suit playing T'Challa, and it's Cap's voiceover or something, and he gives her this story about like how T'Challa always where we've somehow it was like some story that inspires Shuri, and then maybe Cap will tell her about how he always believed in you in something or something like that. And maybe now another thing we could find out is because T'Challa helped Bucky when he was after Civil War, maybe when T'Challa was dying, that was a promise Steve made. T'Challa was, you helped watch over Bucky, I will help take care of Shuri whenever she needs me. And we could have something like that. And maybe, at the end celebration, we see Cap in the audience just giving her a nod or something. I think if Chris Evans isn't in one of the two Avengers movies, I think the most likely one could be Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So what do you think about, could that be the one where we see Chris Evans pop up in?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's precedent for that, where I think it's, I would agree the number one option along with the Avengers ones. I would be much less positive if it weren't for the fact that it is the finale of the phase. So that makes me more convinced that it could happen. But like, very good thought. And like it could be someone like, returning to try and help pass the mantle in a way. So I could see that being the case. I don't know it depends on, I guess, what the intentions of the filmmakers are in this movie. Like maybe they want to make it more about kind of the they might want to make it more about the Black Panther character and like in a kind of zoomed out sense tribute to Chadwick Boseman. But I know it's still an MCU movie, and I know that they
if you think about it,
connect things.
Any character of any other character in the MCU, who would T'Challa been probably closest with? I would say Captain America.
Sure. Yeah, I totally agree with that for sure.
And it would bring something familiar to help ease this movie, because it is in a rough spot.
Yeah. I actually agree with that. I think that's pretty likely. And I guess before moving on, this is one I would definitely see. I don't think it's gonna do anything to like revive the MCU in any way, but I think it would. I think it could be good. So,
I don't plan on seeing it, but I'm not really interested in Black Panther movie without Black Panther. So,
I'm also I'm not familiar enough with the character. Like, I guess I don't know how faithful it is. Like for like. I guess there are other comic series where someone else wears the mask. Like that's
that was like
a new thing.
Out of 50 or 60 years, that was one.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah. So, I don't really have anything else to say besides Daredevil, unless there's something from that Phase 5 list you want to bring up.
Looking at it, so the slate of announcements: Ant-Man and the Wasp, Seagull. I haven't seen that. Secret Invasion.
Oh, I'm so done with Ant-Man. You can kill him off.
Of course.
First one was a big surprise. Second one was awful. The way they describe the third one, there was a quote somewhere, I don't know if it's true, but if it is, oh my God, they just ruined the series.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to see that one either. It's interesting because I think, let me see, this whole thing, the one I would normally have been most interested in is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And it would still be the one I'd be, most likely to see, except for Captain America way down at the end. But I don't know if it's just like if my tastes have really changed that much, or just like no longer really knowing people to get excited about it with, but I just am not feeling it anymore. I don't know. I didn't see Thor: Love and Thunder, so.
Oh no, probably a good thing, because yeah, I've not heard good things about it.
Yeah. I think my loss of faith in the MCU has been a little quieter. Like, it hasn't happened with any slap in the face or like even noticing that it was happening, but it just kind of died slowly in the background.
You know what
and
the
then
MCU
I'm sitting here
really
looking
needs
at this.
when looking at this, like, you know what the MCU really needs? Like, when you look at, like, besides Spider-Man, that's the only A-lister they've had. Like,
Yeah.
no disrespect to Thor or Doctor Strange, but there's a reason those are lower tier characters than Spider-Man or X-Men.
Yeah.
These phases really could have used an Iron Man 4 or a Steve Rogers Captain America movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or Black Panther movie with T'Challa, but
Mm-hmm.
we're now lower tier characters, and there's a reason they're lower tier characters. Like, nothing against, they're just not as accessible to as many as like a Spider-Man or a Wolverine or something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for that purpose, you can move on to Daredevil, really, because I don't have much to say about anything else, really.
All right, so Daredevil is coming back, and we found out the news that this show will have 18 episodes. That's right, because one of the things, look, I've only seen a little bit of the Marvel shows, but from what I've like seen of like the news, is just like, really? I'd be honest, I'd be upset if a show I was looking forward to only had 6 episodes. I would be bummed out. Like,
yeah,
as much as I love Superman and Lois, I would love an extra few episodes a season instead of 15, but it's better than 13. But still, I would love 23 episodes. But Daredevil, like, I think I talked about, just mentioning earlier, the MCU has been missing A-list anchor characters. Like, the thing is that when you look at the last 2 Marvel movies I saw, they did have Spider-Man and Daredevil were 2 anchor characters, and they foreshadowed in Doctor Strange, Fantastic Four, and X-Men. And arguably, they have more anchor characters post-Endgame than they do before, but they just haven't done anything with them. But Daredevil, I am so looking forward to it. I'm probably more excited for it right now because the other project I'm looking forward to comes out after this. So Daredevil, I am so excited for. Now look, I'll be honest. I do think the Netflix show is a bit overrated, but I think that maybe releasing it weekly will kind of fix my main issue with the show, which was it didn't feel like the episodes stood on their own. Like, it didn't feel like if you just watch one single episode, it was a satisfying experience. It felt like it was just a big show, big stories chopped up. And I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean, you described my experience, I think, because I thought the Daredevil show was a snooze fest and I couldn't finish it. But
yeah,
I don't talk about that because every single person I've ever mentioned that to thinks I'm stabbing them in the chest with that information.
Yeah, like, honestly, I'm I'm still going through season 1. Like, I like it, but I'm like, I wish it was better. But I do think that, like, by releasing week to week, it'll help make it so that the episodes are more standalone and satisfying. So I'm excited. And look, I do think that Daredevil, just in general, is a darker character. And I think that's something the MCU desperately needs. After Thor: Love and Thunder, really, it was honestly the first time we heard so many people say, finally, this is too jokey. They've gone full sitcom, which is something I feared. And yeah, like, you know what? Thor Ragnarok is this weird example of a great movie that ruined a franchise.
That's kind of true. Yeah.
So yeah, I am looking forward to Daredevil. I do think that maybe under Marvel Studios, it can fix some of the issues I had with the show. So, what do you think about, because you didn't really love the TV show, the Netflix show, but what do you think about Marvel getting their hands on it and giving it another go?
Yeah. When I never look into enough. When I see, like, I thought I was a little more excited, I think, when I thought this was a movie, because I just thought, like, one shot. I couldn't get into the series.
I would rather have it be a movie too.
Yeah. Which is usually not the case. But with this, I just was like, because I didn't love the show, I was hoping it'd be a movie. It is, however, Marvel Studios. I think it could easily be better. I think in concept, and I haven't read them yet, but there's some comics that sound really, like some Daredevil comics that sound really, really good. And so the character seems awesome to me. It could easily be like a favorite, but I can never quite explain what it was. Like, I can't think of it critically, but I just found the show so boring.
You know what you should watch to get into Daredevil? Because this is what got me into Daredevil. Once you get Disney Plus again, or you can buy them on iTunes, but once you get Disney Plus, go to the 90s Spider-Man cartoon and watch the 2-parter where Daredevil guest stars. And it is awesome. It's where Peter Parker is framed for espionage, and it's about Spider-Man and Daredevil teaming up to clear Peter Parker's name, and they got the Kingpin in there. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like a better way to introduce it to me. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's up?
Yeah, I agree that the Marvel needs, a character like this.
Yeah. So I've been debating about bringing this up, but I guess we will. Why not? So next one up is Captain America: New World Order. Now, look, I'll just admit, I think it's a mistake to replace Steve Rogers, because when I think of Captain America, I want to see Steve Rogers. Now, my hope is, no announcement or anything, my hope is that Steve Rogers will appear in the movie as like Bruce Wayne did in Batman Beyond. And
right.
Now, look, some people will say, well, what about Batman Beyond? People like that. But there's a difference between having Bruce there still helping versus no Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond. Like, if Bruce wasn't in Batman Beyond, I would not have watched that show. But because it has the because it has the real Batman in there, it helps it. It does. It makes it still feel like Batman. And look, this could change if we do see Steve Rogers in another thing, because it would totally change the context of, all right, here is Sam doing his thing, but we know we can go see Steve in something else. So they do coexist. Like,
yeah,
it's different in the comics when you still have both of them. You have Captain America still doing his thing and Sam Wilson doing his thing. Just like it's a very different experience reading Ultimate Spider-Man, the first introduction of Miles Morales, where they kill off a version of Peter Parker and Miles is replacing him, versus now in the Marvel Comics and Spider-Verse, they coexist. So, and just my opinion, Sam was always there for Steve. Steve should be there for Sam. So, in general, I'm not that excited about, but I will say this. I have seen the first 2 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And easily, it is the best of the Disney Plus Marvel shows. Like, not even close. And, like, there's 2 ways to look at it. One is, like, the way the show is, and one is kind of what's been going on in general with the MCU. Mm-hmm. So, in the show, there's a little bit of a mystery to where Steve Rogers is. Like, people don't know, where is he? There's a rumor that he's on the moon or something. It kind of leaves it up to the audience, like, where is Steve? Like, they don't say, like, oh, yeah, Sam's like, oh, yeah, I'm doing all this crap, while Steve, the little jerk, is on a beach somewhere sipping lemonade or whatever. Like, in my opinion, he's post-Endgame, if he's not going to be Captain America for a little bit, Steve Rogers should be the new Nick Fury. So there's that. And the other thing is that Sam in the show is kind of saying what I'm thinking, which is that no one should be Captain America. No one else but Steve Rogers should be Captain America. I'm like, yeah, I agree with Sam. But someone did have to be it. It should be Sam. But
yeah.
And it's just, I don't like the idea of the show, but they're just, now I've heard the afterwards the show does dip in quality, but from the first 2, I'm just like, I don't like this idea, but it is being executed pretty well. And good. When I look at the MCU now, in the post-Endgame MCU, now that they've introduced Toby and Andrew, and they introduced Charles Xavier playing an alternate version of Professor X, and we know that X-Men 97, they'll find a way to cross over. They won't just leave it be, even though they should. By bringing that in, it's a little bit like, and just as a fan of Marvel, it feels like even though this isn't the real Marvel universe, those ones are. So it's like, all right, this is an alternate Marvel universe now where those are kind of the real ones. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it kind of removes a little bit of like the baggage of some of these decisions they've had. So I kind of go either way about if I will see Captain America New World Order. But I would like to see Steve Rogers behind the scenes like Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond, or Peter Parker in the Spider-Girl comics. Because, let's be honest, the only reason he's not there is because Marvel decide that, Chris Evans is scheduled to decide, what happens with Steve Rogers. So,
yeah.
That's just, I don't know. But look, if what we had in Falcon and Winter Soldier, the first 2 episodes, is like New World Order, maybe I'll check it out, but still a lot to ask.
Yeah, for sure.
Although it would change if we do see Steve in another thing. So then it's like, all right, Steve's doing that. I'll go see what Sam's up to. By the way, I still want a movie where they're both Captain America and they're like one's throwing the shield to the other. Then it'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Like the comics going on right now.
Yeah, I mean that would be awesome.
So I don't have anything else besides Fantastic Four. I don't think you care about Thunderbolts, do you?
I didn't even know what it was, so I was reading what it was.
It's like the villains all coming together.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's
kind
talk
of a cool
about
name, but that's all I can say about it.
Yeah, I think I do remember seeing the ads for those comics in the 2000s.
Yeah.
So, I guess before we move on, what are your thoughts about Captain America? What is it? It's not is it New World Order, I think?
Yeah, New World Order.
Yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry. I just went on that whole thing about Captain America, about how, conflicting feelings.
No, but it's the thoughts on seeing. I don't know. I guess it's one of the ones I'm more excited about. But I'm not gonna see it just because it's called Captain America. So I have to give it a second and see what it's about, get a sense of it. It might even have to come out and I'll have to hear about it. Like I don't know yet. So that's all I can really say about that.
I mean, if we found out Steve Rogers was a supporting character, would that increase the excitement for you, or because I know it would for me, but
it probably wouldn't affect the decision as much as it would for you. But I would really like that to be the case. So,
yes. All right.
Yeah.
So should we move on to the movie announcement I was most excited for?
Sure. Is it this that I'm sharing right now?
Oh, yes, it is. It's the one where we knew it was coming, but we finally have a release date, which I think I don't know if I mentioned it to you, like either on the show or in person. Like the Batman 2, they announced it. You have a release date? No, I don't care. I just don't get excited unless there's a release date. But we finally have a release date for the Fantastic Four. So I've been talking about how since they decided to get rid of Iron Man, Captain America, Black Panther, they kind of ruined Hulk. They don't really have anchor characters, like I'll just say this. Infinity Saga, I went to those movies to see Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and later Black Panther. Thor, Ant-Man were nice bonuses, but those weren't the ones I really cared that much about. They were bonuses before we got to the movies I really cared about.
Mm-hmm.
But now they've put Spider-Man, at least for now, on the right track. We have Daredevil, and now we're getting the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
I am really looking forward to this. This is the movie. This is the one movie I will for sure be going to. We'll talk about why they didn't announce Spider-Man later. Because we'll just say now, that's a Sony decision. That's not up to Marvel to announce a Spider-Man movie. So that's why there's not a Spider-Man 4 announcement.
Got it. Okay.
Because even I forget that sometimes, but Sony is the one who will make that announcement. So, Fantastic Four, I am looking forward to it. Fantastic Four is up there with one of my favorite Marvel groups. I love The Thing, Human Torch. Oh boy. So, I hope it's great. This is the one movie. Look, I'm not going to lie. Am I still a little nervous about it since it's MCU right now? Of course. But if I'm going to root for one until we have a Spider-Man announcement, Fantastic Four is the one I'm rooting for. So I hope it's good because it could bring some fresh life into the MCU that it really kind of desperately needs right now. So, and look, I like the two Tim Story Fantastic Four movies from the 2000s. Get over it. So, what are your thoughts about we finally have a release date for Fantastic Four?
Yeah. I mean, I really like Fantastic Four, and it kind of meshes with my I like those early Marvel things. I straight up really like the early Spider-Man comics and the cheesiness of that. And so I always kind of, I connect it in my mind. So even though I don't have as much of a history with Fantastic Four, I'm always really excited about the idea of Fantastic Four finally coming to MCU. So yeah, I would say that this It's probably, yeah, I'd say this is the one I'm most excited for too. Unfortunately, it's the furthest away. But what I like
Well, there's two
to
others
me,
further away, but yeah.
yeah, of these. I think the thing that I'm most interested in, and this all reflects what you just said, but even more than just like breathing some more life into this franchise, I think this is the point, like a real turning point where it could be that this is a true new entire era of Marvel movies, like where they can finally have anchor characters again, and uh, like it would feel just completely fresh if they were to build the universe around some new characters. Uh, or the flip side of that, it kind of feels like more of the same, but now they've done it with Fantastic Four, then we've reached the end. But I think this is the announcement that is, and of course, perfect for announcing Phase 6 or whatever. But this is the announcement that kind of gives the most hope that could happen.
Oh, yes. So, I guess we should probably talk about the other two that are coming out. That was the one. That was the one. Even though I was like, yeah, Fantastic Four and Daredevil, and look, other people were excited too, but there's a couple other ones that people were looking forward to. One is that we're gonna have 2 Avengers movies in 2025, which, look, I'll say it right now, I don't think they both will come out in 2025, but if they do, that will be quite the accomplishment. Even if they're both terrible, I'll be like, you know what? They went for it, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to like be like, all right, let's give it a shot, because you know what? If that works, maybe one day we could have 2 Batman movies in a year. I mean, technically, it sounds like next year we'll have 3 with Batman, but yeah, I think the closest we've had was Black Panther, and then Black Panther was in Avengers Infinity War a few months later.
Right, yeah.
So, first up is Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, which Kang is a villain that I've been wanting to have in an Avengers movie even before Thanos and Ultron, because I loved the version they had in Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the animated series. So, and look, the news about that, it's also, I hadn't really heard of it, but it is based on a Avengers storyline. So, you know what? I'll get the comics. I'll at least get the comics because I'm at least a little bit curious. The thing is that for me, the thing that kills my excitement a little bit, although there was one thing that did raise it a little bit, even though I haven't seen the movie. This first one will be directed by the director who directed Shang-Chi. Now, I had not seen Shang-Chi, but whenever I hear people talk about the MCU, Phase 4, and let's be honest, I don't know if you've heard it, but a lot of people are really disappointed in Phase 4. The 2 things I hear, everyone says Phase 4 sucks except for Spider-Man. But I also hear the one thing that people are also saying is that they like Shang-Chi. So,
right.
Hopefully that will be good. So, but the thing that gets me not as excited is we don't know who the lineup of the Avengers is going to be.
Yeah.
So, I think because the dude who directed Shang-Chi is directing, I think that obviously makes it so Shang-Chi will be in it. The only other one I'm fairly certain will be Sam Wilson as Captain America, which I kind of think, like, in an Avengers movie, it makes more sense for Steve not to be there. Like, if we were doing Justice League Beyond, it makes more sense for Terry McGinnis to just be there and not Bruce Wayne, versus
Right.
like if it was just Batman Beyond, be like, where's Bruce Wayne? Versus in this one, it wouldn't be as detracting. So there's that. Hulk maybe, but they've really butchered Hulk since Ragnarok. I mean, I like Thor in Ragnarok. I mean, after Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Thor is a maybe, but does anyone care about Thor anymore? I don't think so. What about Spider-Man? Could Spider-Man be in it? I think maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And could we see Steve Rogers be in this one? Who knows? Maybe. Though I think the next one's probably more likely. So, and Daredevil is possibly the two I think are most likely, and the two I'm rooting for are obviously the one I'd want in it the most is Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't think it will like effective in an Avengers movie, won't be like, Where's Steve? I would like to see Sam Wilson as Captain America in there. So,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard for me because I know a little bit more about Secret Wars than I do Kang Dynasty. So Kang is a great villain, so it's nice that he's there. So what do you think about Avengers Kang Dynasty?
Yeah, I guess my thing is like this feels like the thing to immediately like excite people the most because it feels like the core of the MCU. But I don't know if it like for me, I don't care so much with just the Avengers name being thrown there. I care more about what characters are in it.
Oh, 100%.
So not knowing that makes me just like, to me, you've barely announced anything.
Yeah.
I just, it's going to be a movie with some compilation of different characters fighting together. Not knowing who that is, what that means now, the Avengers, I don't have excitement for it yet. If it was confirmed to have Spider-Man in it, I guess that's all I'll take. I was going to say more. I was going to list more. If it was confirmed to have Spider-Man in it, I would be excited.
Oh yeah, honestly, that's enough right there.
Yeah.
I mean, are there any characters you'd want to see in it? Like, if it's good, like, I'd like to see Steve Rogers, Sam's Captain America, and Hulk. But any ones you'd want to see in there?
I mean, I think I'd like to. I think I like the idea of Sam Captain America as well. I think I'd like if if it's supposed to be the same franchise, I'd like maybe as many as like the problem is like you said, Hulk and Thor are like, have you ruined any hope for these characters? I guess I would lean towards like wanting to have Thor in it, but maybe it being in an Avengers movie, it would feel like you could make it feel more like classic Avengers Thor. Maybe there's some character growth that could happen there, but I haven't seen. Maybe we're too far off. But I would hope that someone else.
It is 3 years away.
Well, I guess I mean maybe we're too far off from like redeeming characters that are.
Honestly, I think you're right. Although they did with Spider-Man.
Yeah. So I would say a hopeful Thor pick, Spider-Man, some version of Captain America,
or both.
Yeah, at least one. So probably Sam. Who else? I mean, I guess the other ones. I mean, I guess you've got. I don't know if I'll say it maybe. Like, I actually, this is a question. Would the new Black Panther, like, would that fit in the same thing where it's like it's okay if it's someone different because it's an Avengers movie?
You mean like with the audience or just?
Oh no, I mean, so you felt more okay with Sam as Captain America because it's an Avengers movie than like a standalone movie. Like that feels
Well,
more
like because
normal.
I don't feel like in an Avengers movie it won't be like, where is Steve? Where is Steve? If the world is coming together, that means Steve's probably busy doing something else. But
Right.
like, T'Challa is dead, so it's a bit like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna mostly stick to. It just has to have Spider-Man in it.
Yes. Oh, you know what? I'll mention two I'd like to have in there. The Thing from Fantastic Four and Daredevil.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those are yeah. Oh yeah, I wasn't even I wasn't even really thinking about how this is after Fantastic Four. So there's I'd like Spider-Man and at least one Fantastic Four character to be in it.
Yes. So let's move on to the final announcement from this. The capper to the Multiverse Saga. Avengers Secret Wars. Now, so Secret Wars, there are two comics named Secret Wars. One was where they were brought to this planet, and it was all the heroes versus all the villains. And there was also a Secret Wars storyline done in 2015, which smashed together all the characters of the multiverse into battle world, and was all about them trying to put the world back to the way it was, and kind of ending. I mean, it was kind of supposed to end the multiverse, but we know the multiverse never dies. It always comes back. Even in the Arrowverse, where they said the multiverse was gone, it's back now. But I just want to bring this up real quick. There's a little bit of a personal connection for me with the second Secret Wars storyline. And maybe it can happen with here. Because in the 2010s, as I call it, the lost decade for Marvel, I had given up on Marvel Comics because they were these dumb, very jokey kind of pieces of garbage, and they were just awful. But the thing that got me to read it was the return of Ultimate Peter Parker and Ultimate Spider-Man. The return of a Spider-Man. Then I read, after that storyline ended, we had Spider-Verse, which is multiple Spider-Man coming together. Then afterward, there was Secret Wars, which was a comic that I was so looking forward to. It was like, and whenever a new one came out, I would devour it, be like, oh, this is awesome. And it brought closure to the MCU, to the Ultimate Marvel Universe, put the main Marvel Universe back on track. And I just maybe, this could be the thing that either wraps up the MCU and puts Marvel back on track. Because I will say this. I'll throw this out there. This was a rabbit hole, but, because of time, we're jumping ahead of stuff. I have this question to ask you, because I mentioned how the Multiverse Saga, very short amount of time span compared to the Infinity Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Is Avengers Secret Wars Kevin Feige's last Marvel movie before he goes on to do something else? I think it might be, and that this is the end of the MCU. And that whatever happens afterwards, it's going to reboot the Marvel Universe. Because all we've heard is that, look, their anchor characters are gone. They kind of butchered other characters. And now there's like, how are you supposed to do X-Men when you've never mentioned mutants before? Even like if it's just like retconning stuff, like how Ben Affleck's Batman will be retconned into Michael Keaton's. That's kind of rebooting the DCEU.
Yeah.
I think that Avengers Secret Wars is the end of the current MCU. At least, at minimum, I think we're going to have a bunch of retcons. So, what do you think? Is this it? Is this the grand finale?
I think it really could be too. And
I also wanted to bring up something. It comes out in 2025, which is the 20th anniversary of when Marvel Studios was formed.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow, 2 decades. So, I mean, I really, really think it could be, and it seems like a good time. I guess so this sort of announcement I heard about an opinion of like sort of splitting the characters into 2 categories of like the more extraterrestrial threats versus the more like Earth level local threats kind of thing. Do you know if this is more of a discussion of like where to go with Marvel after the Multiverse Saga ends? Because like I don't know, personally on the slate, I don't necessarily see that much that it still all seems tied to multiverse to me. So.
Yeah, that's a mention for Spider-Man Daredevil. And Daredevil, we have a release date. Spider-Man, we're going to get one in Phase 5, but that's not up to Disney to announce. That's up to Sony. So,
okay.
I think that I will be very surprised if a Spider-Man doesn't come out before Secret Wars.
Okay, that does recontextualize things because I was wondering if that was more of a vision for after this, after the Multiverse Saga. But knowing that some of that vision is going to be in this part of the saga, I do think that's the end.
All right. Now, question. We asked this the last one. Who is going to be in the Avengers in this movie? And I will say it. Everyone. Everyone from Chris Evans' Cap to Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man to Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Wade Wilson as Deadpool. I think this is it. Everyone.
Wow. That's you know more about the story of Secret Wars than I do. I know a little. I think like it's not a question.
I don't want Toby and Andrew in this one because if they're in it, I don't think they're coming out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be everyone. Like as soon as you posed the question, I was like, maybe like everyone in the more immediate like MCU, like someone more main cast,
think at minimum,
non-multiverse.
Everyone who's ever been, every Marvel character who's ever been in MCU proper will be in it. I think Iron Man. I think even if it's not Robert Downey Jr., I think we'll see CGI Iron Man. There's just the suit and maybe a voice actor doing the voice. I think for sure this is one of the ones Chris Evans is coming back for. And if it's to play that stupid Steve Rogers from What If, I will be very upset if that is what they brought him back for. But they said they brought him back for one movie with the possibility of 2. So,
yeah, I mean, I could certainly see it happening with grand finale. I'm a little more hedged on my bets for that, but could be pretty big.
Yes, because this is the capper to the Multiverse Saga.
Yeah, so I do think it's going to be a very multiversey ending. Like it makes sense.
Yes. So I guess we kind of agreed that of all the upcoming movies, Fantastic Four is the one we're most excited for.
Yeah.
Did you have a show you were most looking forward to? because I mentioned Daredevil. We didn't really talk that much about the shows, but
yeah, I mean, I guess it'd probably be Daredevil to like give the character another shot, but I'm not really like super looking forward to
I
any
guess
of
if
the,
I had to choose one, I guess I'll choose Matt Murdock.
I wasn't trying to. Yeah, I wasn't trying to hide that at all. I just wasn't that. I'm not that excited for any of the shows. The movie, like Fantastic Four. I'm excited for. I'm excited for. I'm still excited for anything Spider-Man that's gonna come out. I think it could. My faith is pretty revitalized at this point.
Oh, also, I'll say I think the main team of Secret Wars will be a different team than Kang Dynasty. Like, if Sam is the leader of the Avengers in Kang Dynasty, I think in Secret Wars the main focus will be a different team led by Steve Rogers.
Oh, interesting.